This is being recorded through my Zoom only for Cannabis Church YouTube channel and official podcast. The audio portion of this is not being recorded for Murdoch Worldwide Entertainment Network. These are my opinions and do not represent the views or opinions of anyone else but me. I'm not selling any cannabis here, and I'm not here to save your soul. But I do have shirts for sale now. Haha. So not this one. This one's mine. But I got some great options for you out there with your state and your cities coming and different words on there. But welcome to Sunday service, where we preach the holy healing plant, God's gift to Mother Earth. No judge, just love. All pronouns, faiths, and faithless are welcome at Cannabis Church. We are here to end the stigma of the devil's lettuce and connect to better wellness, personally, spiritually, socially, and for the planet. Whether you need connection to humanity or the universe, or the great creator of your choice, or if you just need some good vibes and to meditate with love and light, all are welcomed with green grace in this safe space. I'm your Pastor Casey. You can partake in the smokable or edible sacrament, the sacred sacrament of your choice at any time during Cannabis Church. I already have. I'm not here to bless the holy plant because the cannabis plant blesses our endocannabinoid system, which gives us that overall better wellness that we all need. Let me pray. Hello, universe. Thank you for accepting us here this week at Cannabis Church and bringing the family together and newcomers and anyone catching this on the recording later. Thank you for everyone that's live here on the clubhouse and live on the green room. I'm humbled that you're here with me today. And with green grace, I move forward with acceptance in this space and the love I have for all of you, and hope that you find the balance you need in life, and remember that the universe wants you to be happy and wants all of us to be happy. So thank you for today and bringing me here today, universe. Amen. Thank you to the music director, Brother Darrell Johnson, for bringing that plant love spirit vibe in the room today and every week. Thank you to Matt at Everest Dispensary here in Albuquerque for today's tasty sacred sacrament that I smoked right before this, Snoop's Dream, which is, he was right. It was a great recommendation. I'm glad I accepted his recommendation because it has helped with my pain. And I've actually slept better this week and had some crazy dreams, which is a good thing because that means I'm actually sleeping. Of course, yes, pain was still waking me up, but I was sleeping better than I was without it. And that's what cannabis does for me. Acceptance. Affirmation. Confirmation. Welcoming, embracing, approval. These are all synonyms for acceptance. How about love? It's not really a synonym, but it's acceptance. It can be in the form of love. And love doesn't always come with acceptance, does it? And acceptance is not always an agreement either, for that matter. My mom, she loves me, but she sure does not accept that I need medical cannabis for the pain of my arthritis and neuropathy and all the different health issues I'm going through. And I know that many people out there will not accept me as a pastor or Cannabis Church as a real church. Words are powerful, but only hold power over you if you let them. And I try to be as inclusive in my choice of words as I possibly can here at Cannabis Church. Sometimes I'm rambling on and ranting here and not following a script. letting the words flow out of me naturally with my own vernacular and speech patterns that I have developed personally over 46 years of my life. I do replace God with universe. Not always, but I try to. I want y'all to feel welcomed and accepted. But in doing so, I'm also accepting who I am as well. I say amen, because that's the way I worship. It's the way I worship to my God. And to change that would be going against my own authentic self and the way I worship God or the universe. And that's no longer including myself, but excluding myself from my own worship service. My pronoun is angel. I do not expect people to accept that, but I accept everyone else's preferred pronouns. I also accept that my 83-year-old mother will not understand the pronoun conversation, and that many people in that age bracket just will not get it. I have no problem having that conversation, but I'm not going to beat them over the head with it. I just have to accept them the way they are, because I want them to accept me the way I am. Because isn't that what we all want or need? To feel accepted by our family, our friends, coworkers, and yes, even strangers. Especially us in the cannabis community. That's what unites us. That's what brought us here together. Here at Cannabis Church. Sure, there might be some curious people watching or listening to this right now, but the majority of you are cannabis consumers, or cannabis patients like myself, or activists like myself and so many friends and family, or in the cannabis industry. People that you guys know what it's like. Y'all know what it's like to be judged by others over a plant. I mean, over a plant, a sacred plant. They like to judge us over cannabis. And I accept that. Another part of acceptance in my life personally is my health. The way it's gone over the last 4 years, and there's the doctors not accepting the truth and being pain deniers. If you've never had a doctor that denies your pain and what you're physically going through, it's pretty frustrating. It affects your mental health as well. Because your spiritual, your mental, your emotional, your physical health are all connected. And that's what cannabis does for me. Keeps those balanced, especially when I'm unbalanced and dealing with becoming more and more disabled as time goes by. Wondering, could this have been stopped? Could this have been fixed? But accepting that this is my situation. This is my current health. It took a long time to get to the point where I could accept that. Some of my family is still trying to figure out how to accept it. That's part of acceptance. Also is that vulnerability, that self-reflection, to look at myself as we're getting ready to move out of New Mexico to Vegas to hopefully have better healthcare options for both of us, not just myself, but also knowing that like I'm extremely limited on the moving part, on the packing, on the carrying boxes, on the actual moving part, wrangling my dog and cat's going to be enough of a challenge as it is in my condition. But I accept that. That's part of who I am now. Kind of like accepting praise and compliments. I've never been good at accepting compliments. I love giving compliments, I love spreading joy and putting a smile on someone else's face and giving compliments and praise and lifting people up and letting them know how amazing they are. Love that, but haven't always been gracious in accepting compliments. Something I've definitely had to learn and grow with over the years, and cultivate that in myself. That's not why I'm here doing Cannabis Church either. It's not for praise. In the first few weeks, people complimenting me after and giving me some praise after made me feel awkward, but I had to learn to accept it. That acceptance, it's not why I'm doing it. It's not why I'm here. It's not for people to pat me on the back. I'm here for the glory of the plant, for the glory of cannabis, for the glory of the universe, my creator. That's why I'm here. If things I say resonate with other people, even better, all the better. But I have to learn to accept those praises and those compliments, and that's part of learning and growing. Like accepting prayers or charity or help. I haven't always been great at that. I love giving help and giving to charity and giving my time. I've had many people come to me because, I'll start prayer circles on Facebook for those that do pray and those that don't, and of multiple faiths, and those that want to put just good vibes and energy out there. Rarely is it for myself. Sometimes for the family, but rarely for myself, usually for other people. And like Damien was reminding me, I have to get used to accepting people's prayers. Because that's a form of help and charity and giving. And why would I deny that other people, that wonderful feeling that it gives me when I get to do that for others? That's selfish of me to deny that of people. Thanks for pointing that out to me, Damien. I get that now. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. It is received. Because I'm the pot pastor here at Cannabis Church. And I do not expect acceptance from other pastors, ministers, bishops, gurus, or spiritual leaders, or whoever you look to for advice, or especially religious mainstream. Nor do I need it, because I've accepted the path in front of me, knowing fully well that I will have my share of haters and naysayers. Already do. People have already tried to stop me, tell me to quit, or correct me, the way I speak or the way I carry myself, or how my sermons should be, or how Cannabis Church should go on Sundays. You all do you. I will do me, just like I always have. Just like Damien is filling in for me next week while I'm moving, and he's going to do him and be himself. And I wouldn't ask him to do his sermon any other way than the way he wants to do it. In fact, that's why I invited him, because I can't wait to hear his words and his perspective on life and cannabis that's different than mine. I can't wait to hear that. You see, I was called to be my truest, authentic self long ago, way before I was called to start Cannabis Church. I was called to service. And that looks different to many people. I was called to open honesty, to wear my heart on my sleeve, as it's been pointed out to me, to show all my flaws and imperfections that perfectly make me who I am, publicly and proudly. I self-reflect publicly all the time and always will. That will never, ever change. I'm not wearing a mask to hide my pain or suffering. I'm not up here faking perfection. I'm not Joel Osteen with his fake ass smile. These are just my opinions, and it's my opinion. He's definitely not of God or the universe. And I will say that when it's my time on my platform, because I think the Dalai Lama is more Christ-like than him. I can only imagine what his opinion of Cannabis Church and me would be. But I also don't give a fuck. I'm not here to make everyone happy. If I cared about the opinions of others, I wouldn't be doing this to begin with. Because this is between me and the universe. Nobody, and I mean nobody, comes between me and my God. Because I have a direct relationship with my Creator, as everybody should, as everyone should. So I don't need the advice of other ministers. That's why I'm not trying to be like other pastors. Because if I was, then there would be no need for me. And I would be sinning against myself by not being my truest, authentic self. And I'm not for everyone. I accept that. You see, in 2005-ish, I think, while working at Bosco's over a 3-month period, I was approached by 5 different people. All of them thanked me for saving their lives. I did not reach out to them. I did not counsel them in any way. We did not even communicate much outside of me taking their orders at the bar. But all 5 of them were suicidal and going through rough times. Each individually was going through, well, their own shit. And none of them shared with me what that was. However, they all came up to me and quoted something verbatim that I posted on my personal Facebook page. And every single time it was something I don't even remember sharing from months earlier. It wasn't even recent, but let alone the exact words. They all quoted different posts of mine, and no 2 of them were the same post. But they were all deeply personal posts about my life, and especially my failures. The simple act of sharing my humanity, whether shiny and bright, but especially the darkness. That's what they responded to and resonated with. For that was what found them in their dark place. Knowing that they weren't alone in their space was enough to keep them going. And I'm not perfect and never will be. I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and those experiences are not always happy. It is that connection that I need anyway. Not perfection, but connection. And that is some great form of acceptance, because acceptance is an action, or should be put into action. I cannot expect everyone to walk in the light or meet me there. I will always and will always walk into the darkness, not to bring my light or the light of the universe has blessed me with, but to sit in the darkness with others so that they can find their own light, their own universe, their own connection to God. I'm not up here with my dad's Bible, quoting it. I'm not here for that. There's plenty of worship places out there for that. But this is not the calling. That is not the calling I accepted. And make no mistakes about it, I had to accept this calling. Because as the free will being that I am, I had to accept this calling. So I share my trials and tribulations as well as my triumphs publicly, not out of vanity or ego, but out of connection and acceptance. Because I know how other people's openness has touched me over the years and connected with me when I was in dark places of self-doubt, self-loathing, and all the self-destructive emotional rabbit holes we dwell in as humans. The universe and cannabis have always helped me out of those dark places to share my sunshine again and again. And here we are as a cannabis community, cannabis church. Or maybe you're new here, or you're curious about the cannabis community or cannabis church in general, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, this is about cannabis and hemp acceptance. Well, that's why we talk about it so openly these days, right? To shine our light on cannabis, to help bring education to those that seek it, and to help end the stigmatic lies and the propaganda machine against God's gift to Mother Earth. The cannabis community has had a lot of terminology over the decades for a favorite green plant, and many nicknames for the way we consume Mary Jane. Educating people on what cannabis is, can do, and why it's a sacred sacrament here at Cannabis Church, and for so many people, is what brings us here today. But there's many legacy old potheads like myself that are going to drop some old stoner lingo in our conversations when we're here on the green room or in Clubhouse and we're in the chat rooms. But once again, let's not beat them, and especially me, over the head for it. Because, like, look, if my old Mormon mom, 83, remember, wants to have a serious conversation about marijuana, I'm going to happily inform her about the racist connotations behind that word, and immediately go into the origins of the cannabis prohibition that brings us here today. But I'm not going to derail a teaching moment every time she calls it marijuana either. I like to pick my battles and know that some people don't care to learn, but those that generally want the knowledge, I try to give it to them. And wisdom is knowing what to do with that knowledge. That's why we talk so much in the cannabis community about education and educating others, as well as how much education I've gotten in the last 2 months being a part of it, all these conversations that I didn't previously have, that I thought I had. That's why we talk so much about how important it is to educate the lawmakers out there and the legislators, you know, because they're calling everything across the board marijuana and defining what the difference is between hemp and cannabis, where we know cannabis and hemp are the same plant. They're just grown differently and have slightly different effects and can be used differently, whether you're going for industrial hemp to make clothing, like they use the cell to come over here and steal America with. Our founding fathers commanded all farmers to grow hemp. It was part of our national crop. It was considered money. You could exchange it as money. And the Constitution is written on hemp paper. And I was thinking about this the other day, like, look at all of our grandparents or somebody's great grandparents that are living to 100. Like, look at them just going and going and going. These were the last babies on planet Earth before when the prohibition started. They were actually born with healthy endocannabinoid systems. We aren't, because of the prohibition. That's what the prohibition has done. It has made us unhealthy as a society, made the planet unhealthy, because it's no longer fixing the soil, the air, and the water that it grows in and around. It's no longer putting all those wonderful piney terpenes that we now know help with the ozone layer and help block out the radiation from the sun. These are things we know now. We accept them as facts. Other people do not. And that's part of the acceptance we're moving forward for cannabis and hemp, is being able to have these open dialogues with the naysayers. Oh, you drug addicts, just another drug, right? The fake war on drugs, where we know cannabis is a gateway off of drugs. Cannabis was my gateway off of alcohol and cigarettes. Cannabis has been my gateway to eating better and taking sugar out of my diet. Cannabis was my gateway to figuring out what was going on with the pain in my neck, to figure out that gluten and lactose was making it worse, and I had to take those out of my diet. Cannabinoids out of CBD and CBG, and any ways I can get cannabinoids in me to feed my endocannabinoid system, to better my immune system, and to deal with my neuropathy pain and my arthritis pain, the better, because that helps with inflammation, and arthritis is inflammation. I believe in the plant and holistic healing. It is sacred to me. And when all that CBD isn't doing the trick and my pain really kicks in and the migraines start, well, smoking some cannabis with some THC in it of any concentrate type, I prefer, whole flower, works the best for my pain. No pills. Those just give me heart attacks, make me stupid, don't actually touch the pain. I've tried all but one neuropathy pill that Big Pharma wants to shove down my throat. None of that works. Cannabis works for me because I have a personal relationship with cannabis, because it's a personal experience and a personal road that we're all on in the way cannabis affects us as well. It's not, this is how it makes everybody feel every time. And there's different terpenes and different strains and different varieties out there that are going to affect us in different ways. There's so much to learn personally with your own personal connection with cannabis, kind of like with your own personal connection with the universe, or personal connection with Cannabis Church. It's the journey we're all on personally that we're figuring out for ourselves. And that's why I'm here preaching for the rights for all humanity, the universal right, the God-given right to use cannabis and hemp in our daily lives for better wellness for us, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to help heal the society, to help heal the planet. It's the only thing that's going to actually turn around this climate crisis. And I'm all about all those rights. And just like I know it's people's rights to choose whether to get vaccinated or wear a mask. I had COVID. Thank God I got those vaccines. It got rid of most of my long hauler syndromes. Thank you. And I will mask up. But just because you have that right in this country, in the States, does not give you the right to turn violent over a mask. What are you doing out there, people? Come on, United States, just stop it. Just stop it. There's enough issues in the world. Smoke more cannabis and relax. Get some CBD oil on all the hurt spots and calm down. Because that's why we're here at Cannabis Church, sharing our personal stories and our personal views on how cannabis is connected with our own wellness. And if it was for cannabis, I wouldn't be sitting here right now dealing with the pain of the arthritis in my hips and knees and ankles and feet that have been, waking me up in the middle of the night. But cannabis helps me deal with that pain. helps me with my mental focus, calm my ADHD down so that I can sit here and not ramble on and on and on for hours and days on days. And cannabis brought me this wonderful cannabis community listening in here on the green room that I now get to call family. It's about connection and acceptance. We're not all going to agree as a cannabis community on terminology and how we move forward and how we get there. We can accept that, but we need to accept each other in these spaces and for who we are. Because like I keep saying, there's enough people against us as the cannabis community. We already leaving the veterans homeless. Yep, that's right. I'm going to bring them up again every week, leaving them homeless and not taking care of them and not giving them the VA hospital benefits that they fully need. That's why legalizing cannabis is so important for them and the cops and all the first responders of this country and anyone with any kind of PTSD, disabled people like me, no matter how they got there. People deserve the right to choose cannabis for their own betterment and their own wellness. And that's the point. Let me pray. Thank you, universe. I am humbled to be here again. This is wrapping up 2 months of Cannabis Church. I am so grateful for Damian Legacy for filling in next week while we pack up this office and the rest of this house to get ready to move to another state and move forward on this path that I know the universe is laying in front of me that I'm accepting. This will be very interesting and a lot of fun. I am so thankful and grateful for all these people here at Cannabis Church today and finding this later. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your love and your grace. And thank you for your connection to me, to the plant, to the universe, to each other, and connecting here today at Cannabis Church. I'm humbled and honored. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Amen. And with that, church is over, and I relinquish the room to